I played a couple of video games I want to tell you about real quick. There's a ROM hack, a Super Mario World ROM hack I had heard about for years called 100 Rooms of Enemies. You ever see this one?
I've heard of it.
It's basically an arcade game. You know, they turned Super Mario World into an arcade game where they make 100 rooms where you got to clear the room of enemies, and they just get ridiculously hard over time. I mean, it starts off reasonable and it just gets complicated as shit. And you get 1 credit, so you cannot die. And with a little help from my friends, the rewind button, I got through it. But it was pretty darn clever. If you like ROM hacks, it's just it was a fret. You know, you can go a few different ways with Mario World hacks. Some people have made like the Sakari games or from scratch. I mean, they're incredible. You can just make new levels of Super Mario World. That's always fun. But I think basically coming up with a new game type out of those same mechanics and sprites, I think was really clever of that person.
Yeah, you could spend a lifetime looking at Mario World hacks because there's so many. They're so deep. There's so many, and different mechanics that they add to them. It's and sometimes changing the game completely, but still in the Mario engine. It's a wonderful thing.
And then I played the SNES game Wild Guns. It's a gallery shooter. I wonder if you can play it with the Super Scope now that I think about it, but. It's the graphics are incredible. I was like, this is like one of the best graphics like SNES games I've ever seen. I mean, the SNES has a lot of really good showpieces for graphics, but this was good. And I thought it was like, for the most part, it was fair. Unlike a Contra, I had seen this thing around. It's the gallery shooter version of like Sunset Riders, right. Effectively. But I totally recommend it if you're looking for, again, like a kind of an arcade gallery shooter. I really, really enjoyed it.
Is it like it's a Western with like sci-fi elements? Is that kind of the thing?
Yeah, it's all sprite scaling to take Lord X's delight.
I hope you guys enjoy sprite scaling power.
You're in the foreground, strafing left to right, while all of the enemies are in the background with bullets that are sprite scaled at you. And so you can either hop over them or you can slide under them. And because there's depth to the bullet, you can kind of walk what looks like walk through them at times because they haven't actually reached you yet. So you start to kind of get a sense for like what the game does and doesn't allow. And there's different, it's mostly dots that kill you, but there's like a freeze gun that will freeze you and then you're vulnerable for a few seconds. And it's quite good. It's really, really, I've heard lots of people talk about it, but I don't hear about it. It's not one of those games I hear talked about every day. So not quite a hidden gem.
I watched the Netflix movie The Killer.
Oh,
it's David Fincher.
Oh yeah, that's the new Fincher movie, right? Yeah,
it's the new Fincher movie, The Killer. And it stars Magneto, Fassbender there. And yeah, he is great. And so it's a super simple movie. It's just basically you follow around an assassin, and right in the beginning of the movie he botches a job and then his client comes after him, so it's kind of like he has to solve this problem. It's almost just watching Fassbender just like do a lot of problem solving and take out his client basically. And it's fun. It's I don't think it's the most deep thing in the world, but there's something about just having something very well acted, a good thriller that's well shot, and some good performances, and simple thriller. So I recommend it. It's especially if it's on Netflix. I think this is where it's like movies you used to see in the theater. Like, remember Phone Booth, like a movie like that?
Oh yeah,
where I would go see that in the theater and be like, this is awesome. I think you're gonna see that. You see those on Netflix now, just put on there and
queefed out, as you once put it.
Queefed out, and I just have to be happy with that reality. But I really liked it.
That's great.
Some people said it was like kind of like boring, but I don't know. There's something fun about the kind of how methodical it is and how it goes through everything.
As I say, I don't think I've ever seen a Fincher movie I thought was boring. The guy knows how to get drama out of his situation, even small situations. Do you have a favorite Fincher movie?
I I do like Gone Girl.
I love Gone Girl.
I think it's a fantastic film.
Zodiac is great.
Zodiac, obviously. Seven is
Yeah, it's classic. Yeah,
classic. I'll go with that.
Alien 3.
Alien 3, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, Fight Club, obviously great. Panic Room, great. I mean, the guy makes great movies. Social Network. Social Network is some people's favorite movie. Like, some people love Social Network. I respect it, but I think I'm a little distracted by just how dramatized it is. I mean, it's over the top. I mean, we're talking about like a pretty robotic person in Mark Zuckerberg, and instead we have somebody who's like an absolute evil asshole in Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Now, Deb from our studios team is joining me. Deb, do you want to take us through some of the exciting games in the pipeline for Quest?
I do like the soundtrack of that movie.
Yeah.
It's a really good.
9 Inch Nails, right? Or
Yeah.
I love Arizona Sunshine. That game basically got me and my friends through the first few months of the pandemic.
That's awesome.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.